Good morning from Tinkerer's Paradise here in sunny Portland, Oregon. This is Patty, the Tinkerer's wife. Welcome to my home and welcome to my garden. Thank you for joining me today. So today I have the first view on YouTube of the garden that the Tinkerer constructed for me. And I am beyond blessed. It is truly beautiful. I love it. So let's, without any further ado, take a look at it. How about this? The crows are getting busy. We have a family of crows that lives in these big, tall fir trees that we're underneath. And part of the reason we we constructed these beds the way we did with the landscape fabric and that is because of those tree roots that come up into the beds from those trees. They're very invasive. Beautiful trees, they offer us some great shade, but they have their detractors, let me tell you. So, without any further ado, let's get into some of the stuff that's in this garden and some plans that I have for it. First off, I would like to introduce you to Mary's Niagara ground cherry. This is supposed to be a more cold hardy ground cherry. Those of you who are familiar with ground cherries, I'm losing my grip here, will know that these are a husk tomato. When they're ripe, this turns brown and it falls to the ground. That means it's sweet and ready to eat. They're the perfect kid food for snacking. A lot of us call them garden candy. And I really love these. This will get fairly wide. It'll probably come out about so far on this little trellis. I put this up here to be able to support it somehow if I have to. I don't know if it's going to get much taller. We'll see. These starts have been they were in pots until just a few days ago, and I started them too early, so we'll see what happens. I've got the tomatillo, the Amarillo tomatillo, yellow one, the Gelber Englisher custard squash, and Ron Denise round squash, which is like a zucchini, a better flavor than regular zucchini though. Going to have the French purple beans growing up there, and on the other side of it, Trombosino squash. And here we have purple shine, eggplant, and then over here was one I wanted to show you. This is a Japanese long eggplant, and this is a chance seedling that came up with these lovely variegated leaves, as you can see there and there. So I bought it. I didn't need it. I have lots of starts, trust me. Anyway, I'm going to save seeds off of it and see if we can get it to come true from seed, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll have a variegated plant. That's how they do that when they find variegated plants. Unless they do vegetative propagation, which I am not going to do on that. Anyhow, back to the garden. This arch here is one of our entrance arches. It will have red noodle beans on this side. They'll probably go all the way up. And then cucumbers here that will go probably up to about here. And hopefully they'll play nicely in the middle and not cause too much trouble. Kids don't play well together sometimes, especially when they are so different. This bed here is peppers. I have 2, 4, 6 different kinds of peppers there. I have a couple of peppers over there. Those are habanadas and lipstick peppers here. I can see the names on them, so I know what those are. Bunching onions, some carrots, and what else do I have in here? Radishes. Yes, radishes. Gotta have radishes, right? All right. Well, one of the other plants I want to show you real quick. I know there's been a lot of buzz about this plant, but I wanted to be sure that I showed you. It really is as pink as they say. This is the Chinese pink celery. This is a milder flavored, supposed to be a little sweeter celery. It does not require blanching, all these other great things. So I'm excited to try it, and I will be doing a review on it and letting you know how it does. So far, it is very happy in the soil that we have. It has doubled in size since I put it in here only like 2 or 3 days ago. Here's a relative of it, the celeriac. This is a bulbing celery. It makes a bulb at the base that's very mild flavored. That'll be interesting, and that's the reason we do the troughs. And when the roots start bulbing, they kind of force themselves out of the ground, sort of like an onion, except for you backfill to cover them up to protect them. These store really well. We'll be talking about those more. I've got one of my favorite plants here that y'all have heard me talk about before, those of you that are new. This is Okinawa spinach. It's a plant that they eat a lot in East Asia, and also in Hawaii they use this. There's a green form that's more of a ground cover. This is a shrubby one. And I got rooted plants. I bought them online, so I'm really happy I did. They are beautiful plants. I've got another one over here. And because I'm such a lover of all things colorful, on this purple trellis, I have the golden runner bean with the chartreuse leaves and the bright red flowers, and it will go way up and over, boom, and I've got another one here. So we will have probably a big wad up there, I would imagine. Runner beans get quite tall. For anybody who's not grown them, they do. I've seen them get 10 feet tall or more. Another colorful plant, this is a little Chenopodium, a tree spinach. This is one of my favorite plants that I think is probably one of my favorite pollinator plants in the garden. This is African blue basil. These are the flower heads forming, and they will get to be at least 12 inches or more long. They are gorgeous. Lots of flowers. You still get to harvest leaves. It is not a sweet basil. It is more of a camphor basil. I recommend it for things like beef, pork, wild game. It would be awesome on that, or probably lamb it would be good on. Another plant right next to it here is the red tree collard, which I've talked about some. This will get quite large, and I'm excited for this plant because it really tastes good. It's very mild. It's not like a kale. It's not like any collard I've ever had. It's probably more, reminded me more like cabbage. So that I'm pretty excited about. Anything else? Oh, I got 2 other plants I want to show you. A tomato bed in here. I will talk more about those later. I want to go over here. Whoa, we got a mole coming up here. I felt that doggone guy. Them little boogers. Anywhere that there's something covered up, they like to come in and dig. Okay. Where was I? This is oca. This is a tuber from, not the Andes, Central America. I'll find out where it's from. Anyway, I don't remember its heritage, but it is an oxalis, so you can eat the leaves on this. It produces a tuber, this one does, that is that color. So it's very easy to see in the ground when you go to harvest it. And you harvest it after the tops have been frosted, and kind of like a dahlia. And then you store it in the refrigerator. What I've done is I'll take a damp wrung out paper towel and wrap them up in it, and then put them in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag, and then every so often change out the towel so it doesn't get mildewy or anything. That works pretty well, but they do need that cold storage. By the way, the tuber, you can eat it fresh or cook it. It slices up really nicely in salads and that kind of thing. Now this is Red Mountain Celtis. This is that lettuce that grows a big, thick stalk. We've seen pictures in the catalog for Baker Creek. It has a really kind of an interesting mottled red leaf. Can you Can we see that? It's more spotted. A little hard in this light. I wanted to get out here before the sun came up a lot, but the neighbor's tree decided to help us out with a little shade. It won't be shady here for long. That sun will be past that. Our house doesn't sit on a perfect north-south axis, so the light comes in here at kind of an odd angle. And we do have some shade here. And if anybody is wondering why I put my tomatoes back here where it seems a little bit more shady, last year they grew best back there further where it was even shadier because it was so bloody hot here last year. The ground is just soil down here. It was 130 degrees. That means that these plants, or our tomato plants, which were up against this wall without all this cement stuff down here, they were getting baked. So I didn't want baked tomato plants. I wanted tomato plants that would produce fruit because plants, most all plants, maybe not peppers and maybe not eggplant, I don't know about eggplant, but tomatoes and cucumbers will go into a type of stasis when it gets too hot. That's to protect themselves, and so they drop their buds. That's bud blast, by the way. That's a technical term. And so if you wonder why your plants aren't producing and it's hot outside, why they kind of stopped growing and it's hot outside, that's why. So oh, and I want to show you one more thing, because Mr. Ben the Tinkerer, he has done a couple good things here. He has an artistic side he hasn't quite grasped yet. He does have a good eye for things. And he put this up here. I was kind of grousing because he stole my purple trellis. And it's so funny. He thinks he painted these, and actually I was the one who painted them. He's so funny. Anyway, so he stole my trellis. And I'm kind of glad he did, because look at all those berries. These are Logan berries. Yes, I'm so excited for those. I don't know if we'll have enough for a pie, but we got enough for ice cream anyway. And then his little tree here, we're going to have to move the Logan berries over here. You know, we're going to have to move those. So we got to find a place for those. But we've got this tree here that will actually be really nice in this location. And then back here I've got hydrangeas that actually they kind of need to be moved, or the neighbors need to take down their arborvitae, which are causing our fence to lean, and we have to replace our fence anyway. We have a lot of work to do around here. So I'm going to show you this. This is silver buckler sorrel. I'm going to be looking for a source for this. Because I'd like to get more of it or figure out how to propagate it. My friend and grower Andy Van Hevelingen, he produced that plant. I am not sure how he propagated it, or if he got starts of it and grew them on. That's what happens a lot. Oops. Wow, that's dangerous. We need to get this pinned down. I got to get the tinkerer out here. I just tripped on that, caught my toe on it. So yeah, the other thing we're going to do here is right here at these entrances, I'm going to try and, I've got bare feet. I'm really happy about being able to walk out here in bare feet and not get stuck by fur cones. Right here, we are going to put purple barrels and put, that's what we've got right now. So for the time being, we'll be putting barrels that have, or tubs, those utility tubs, that have herbs in them. And then around the corner over here, oops, trying not to step on anything and drop the camera, we will have ones that'll have like zinnias, because this gets pretty hot over here. I thought that'd be a good spot for the zinnias, plus it'll be some eye-catching color. The herbs that I have are these salvias. There's 4 kinds of salvias. I have scented geranium here. That's that one, and there's peppermint. That's Gray Lady Plymouth, by the way. It gets pink flowers. This one gets these little white flowers. Very pretty fragrance. Oh, and I also have these snapdragons I'll be putting in with the zinnias. That'll be nice. And I have geraniums to put in somewhere. So I've got more planting to do, but I really wanted to show you this beautiful, beautiful bed. I don't know if I caught the sign that says blessed, but I found it, I think 2 days ago at our local Fred Meyer's store, which is kind of those one-stop shopping stores, and it was back in their clearance stuff. And so I got it for 60% off, and it just jumped off the shelf at me. I knew it was almost like God just handed it to me. It was really awesome. So I put it out here the other day, and I sat down, kind of taking stock of the garden and just calming my mind and thinking about it. And I looked at that sign, and I just got the most overwhelming sensation of being blessed. It was really a beautiful moment. So I wanted to share my blessing with you. And I want to thank you again for spending time with me here in the garden. I want to thank you for subscribing, those of you who've recently subscribed and those of you who've been subscribers for a little while. We're growing slowly but steadily, which that's fine with me. At this point, I don't know if I want to take off like a rocket. That might be a little overwhelming because it's just me. I don't have my other half like a lot of people do in support of this, so he's a little shy. But I'm hoping that he'll decide to go on camera someday, because he actually is pretty good on camera. So anyhow, I wanted to say thank you. If you liked what you saw, click that like there. If you want to see more, you can go ahead and subscribe, and then hit the notification bell if you want to get notifications on when I bring a new video online. I post every Tuesday, and if for some reason I can't, I will make a note of that on my Facebook, which is Patty Hicks. It's linked in my Instagram account, which is also linked here in my information on YouTube. I will be can't talk. I will be letting you know what seed companies I used. Trade Winds I know was one, Kitazawa, M.I. Gardner, and Baker Creek. Those are ones I remember that I bought seeds from. So there's the quick list, but I'll give you the rest of it later. Again, thank you again so much. I appreciate your support. This means a lot to me, more than you know. And I really hope that the information I gave you here will bless you in some way. So this is Patty, the Tinkerer's wife, signing off. God bless.